I'm 32 years old and got a net worth of over 8 figures, but it has nothing to do with my age and everything to do with what I did 10 years ago. This could help you at any age. Let's start with that any age line there. So the reality is, property is relatively universal. So, it's pretty open to anyone. And if you're at the upper boundaries, it starts to get more complicated. What I mean by that is, on the one side, if you are 15 years old watching this, first of all, bloody good on you to be looking into this at such a young age. But at 15 years old, you're going to need some sort of adult consent or to joint venture with a parent, family member, a friend that is over the age of 18 in order to get mortgages in the first place. On the opposite side, if you're 70-year-old watching this, first of all, again, well done, because it is never too late to start. But you are going to have added complexities with getting lending. So maybe you're going to have to buy either with cash or lower loan to value. So you need to put in more cash per property. Or again, you're going to need to joint venture with somebody that's younger to de-risk the lender, well, in case you pop your cogs halfway through the investment. So if we look at those two spectrums, there are many people that would say 18 is too young. I just think the world has changed a lot. I don't know about you, but if we look at Gen Z, and it's weird talking about Gen Z because I still feel that I was at university yesterday, but it was over 10 years ago now. Everything's so much more faster paced. We're so much more exposed to what it is to be an adult at such a young age. And this could be from beauty standards to your wealth standards, whether it's a guy with a six-pack next to a hot girl in the Lamborghini, or indeed your female looking at other girls with this bikini edited body. We all have these expectations. With that said, I think actually we need to adapt to the world that we're in. I think if you can be entrepreneurial and genuinely, if you put your age in the chat, by the way, that would be really interesting just for me to read. What's the average age here? Let me know if you're 14, 15 or 97. It really doesn't matter. I just want to know. But when you're there, I have the opinion that actually I've never had somebody go, I wish I waited a few more years before I started investing in property. Who the fuck says that? Whereas I've had loads of people go, I wish I started when I was your age. When I started out at 22, I had so many people at networking events going, the great thing about being young is this, you should do that, which I'll go into a while. So my opinion is start today, no matter what age you are, but especially if you're young. Get rid of the age. You're going to hear people going, you've done so well considering your age. It's like, no, fuck you. I've done well at any age, all right? So your age is just a number. If you're mature enough to watch this video, you're mature enough to take action on this. On the opposite side, let's say you think you're too old. Well, the oldest mentee that I've ever worked with is 83 years old. And yes, there were some tech failures, let's say. It was a little bit more difficult, but they were just as successful as a 40-year-old. The reality is you just have to adapt, but you are never too young and never too old. There are benefits of both. Young investors. So let's say you're in your high teens, 20s, 30s. Let's say that as young. The great thing you've got, number one, is time on your side. All right. The big thing is that you've got a massive time advantage. And what I mean by that is a majority of the wealth in property is made through capital growth. So time in the market will always beat timing the market. If you can get in today and you own that property for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, I can guarantee you that if we did it on 5-year increments, let's say, the more wealthy you are will be judged based on how long you've been in the market. And a great example of this is Warren Buffett. He is one of the most successful investors in the world, except for he's not. He has relatively decent returns compared to the market. He is not even in the top 10, by the way, in returns. He's just old as fuck. By his own merit, his secret sauce is that he's old. He's just been investing longer than everyone else. So your benefit is your age. The problem, though, is your age. And what I mean by that is mentally you think you're going to live forever, everything's going to go on, I don't need to rush all of that, I'm so young, all of that. No, fuck that. Get your age out of it. Start taking action today. The other great thing is risk tolerance. You can afford to be way more risky, take on more measured risk, calculated risk than somebody that's 83, because you could go through so many economic cycles. Like even now I've built my wealth into the multi 8 figures. If I lost it all today, would I have a little cry about it? Yeah. But honestly, who gives a fuck? I'm 32 years old. I've got so much time to rebuild that. My identity is not based on my wealth, but I can have so much more risk because of how young I am. Let's go to the middle aged group, if you like, 40 to 50. And there's a lot of benefits that come with this age group, is that hopefully you've got a little bit more of a financial backing, a financial foundation. If you haven't, maybe looking at a business is the right way for you. So maybe deal packaging, trading, something like that. Maybe not building your portfolio, but more than likely you've got a bit more financial backing. You've got a very sturdy job. You've got repeatable income. You've got your savings and you're ready to start multiplying that. The other thing is you can start diversifying more effectively. So I always say to people, whenever you're looking to build a portfolio, you always want your 5 buy-to-let properties. If you want to build your skyscraper, you need good foundations. And the foundations of property investing, bar none, every single one of you should have a boring vanilla buy-to-let portfolio. Older investors, we're going to say 60 and above, great investors to be. You've got long-term stability. Often if you've had kids, they've grown up and so there's not got that dependence on you as much. So less pressure. Most of the time you've paid your own house off or you're getting towards that. But now's the time to really think about those strong areas. So what you don't want is those really high cash flowing areas that are higher risk, getting trashed, all of that. You want solid areas. Maybe you're thinking about handing down to your kids down the line, but really you want that sort of stable income whilst getting that sturdy capital growth moving forward, but you're finding that balance towards the cash flow. The other thing is you really want less volatility. So you don't want to be fucking around with serviced accommodation, commercial conversions, unless you've got the experience. You don't want to be messing around with HMOs or student lets. It's all about the simple lifestyle. You've put in the hard yards, you've dedicated your life to building that wealth, and now you just want to plow it into boring vanilla buy-to-lets that are really tax effective for when you hand them down to your kids, grandkids, if that's what you want to do. But in the meantime, make sure you're getting a repeatable, strong monthly income that you can rely on passively and tax effectively. The reality is it's going to depend a lot on your personal situation. If you want some actual advice, by the way, on where you're at, where you want to get to, and maybe we can help build your portfolio, one of my companies is Aspire Property Group, and we actually help people for a fee to build their portfolio hands-free. So if you're watching this, you know you want to invest, but you don't have the time, the knowledge, and you don't really want to take massive risks, put APG, that stands for Aspire Property Group, APG in the comments, and we can just have a one-to-one phone call strategy session. No obligation to sign up to anything, no hard pitch, just to find out and give you some strategic guidance this year. So put APG in the comments and we'll see if we can help. All of this is about start now, get perfect later. The reality is that everything gets better with time. And I mean everything. So if you look at the market over the last 12 months, the market's gone down. Then you go, oh my God, how's the market gone down? Everything is terrible. It's awful. It's like, no, we had COVID. We had the demand build up. We had really low interest rates. We've had rates. We've had interest rates going up, sturdy in the market, development going down, less coming to the market, less people moving. Naturally, there's going to be corrections every few years, every 18 years typically, and we go through this cycle. But without a doubt, every 10 years, property prices will go up. Jamie, how can you say that? Buy-to-let's dead and it's never going to happen. Well, the reality is that it's been measured since the Doomsday Book in 1086, and the reality is it has gone up every 10 years bar none. It's never, ever, ever, ever gone down over a 10-year period. What? Yes, even in recessions, depressions, and everything in between, if you take an average decade, any decade, property prices have gone up. So if in doubt, zoom out. Look, the reality is it doesn't matter what your age is, whether you're a kid by most people's standards or you think you're towards the back end of your life. The reality is do you really want to delay your success even further? So if you're younger, do you really want to wait until you're 32 to get started? If you're 32, do you really want to wait until you're 40 to get started? If you're 65, what are you going to do? Bitch and moan about the fact that you didn't start 20 years earlier? Do something today your future self will thank you for. And do you know what? That might just be investing in property. And if you want to just have a chat to find out, is it right for you, and give you some strategic guidance, put APG in the comments. Because the reality is, If we can't help you build that portfolio, I don't know who can. But worst case scenario, you get a bit of expert advice on what to do next. But here's one free piece of advice. Start today. Your future self will thank you for it. I hope that's been interesting for you guys. The reality is so many people delay, and actually you need to educate yourself and take massive action. Remember, if you want the education side of things, to subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing videos every single week that I believe are pertinent to your knowledge and the market so that you can make the most money every year in property. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell, hit the like button if you did get value, and I'll see you in the next video.